Days after insurgents killed at least 40 vigilante personnel at Yagoji village in Jibia, Katsina State, President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the attack and condoled with the grieving families. In a statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari says our thoughts and prayers are with the bereaved families in this difficult period. May Allah repose the souls of the deceased. Over 40 vigilante personnel were killed on Thursday evening when insurgents ambushed their convoy en route to recover stolen cattle. Locals have reported that unidentified gunmen attacked several cattle rustled. The vigilantes were ambushed with 41 killed and 2 others injured. The State Police Public Relations Officer SP Gambo Issa revealed. This is another sad one. We pray for the repose of the souls. How are your thoughts on this?
Yes, we do pray for the repose of the souls and also comfort to the governor and family members of the vigilantes killed. I wanted to start out by saying another security breach, another condolence by the president. However, yes, the president would respond through his media spokesperson with by giving his condolences to the family members and to the state of Katsina. However, beyond condolences, what Nigerians are looking for is for a security architecture that responds to the needs and insecurity of the north, in this case, the northwest Katsina, and interestingly also the state of the president himself. So just to go back in terms of what happened, terrorists, as you mentioned, Rufai, had killed the numbers as in cases like this often differs. Some people say 41, some people say 44. Official figures say 41. However, people are saying that they're still searching in the forest for some of the vigilantes who were killed. The police spokesperson in Katsina State had come out to say, the commissioner of police had come out to say that the group or the vigilante members that were killed were from the outlawed Yakasai. Now, despite the fact that they are outlawed in law, recall that the governor of Katsina State, in responding to the incessant banditry attacks in the state, had trained about 600 local vigilante to support the efforts of security agencies, state security actors. He had said that the aim was to train 3,000 local vigilantes to support the work. Already clear that, unfortunately, what's present in terms of state security in Katsina State is insufficient. A United Nations report had mentioned that one of the things plaguing Katsina State that is not able to respond to the banditry and terrorist attacks that have happened a number of times. Recall that Kankara was where the 300 boys were abducted from the secondary school, and here we are, still having attacks and reports of insecurity in this area. What they had mentioned was that they had security agents posted to this area were not near enough. For about less than 3,000 security agencies, meaning that about 38 policemen to about 100,000 people in the state, grossly insufficient. Unfortunately, there hasn't been enough funding to deploy more security officials there, hence the reason why local vigilantes have come out to support the effort. This is sad, this is unfortunate, and as I mentioned in the opening statement, that beyond a condolence letter, the best condolence, if I could put it that way, or the best way to ensure that these matters, as he's described them, are honored, and their memories and the lives of many others who've lost their lives in this area are honored, is by ensuring that the president, in whatever time that he has left, leaves a legacy of security. They must be able to find out who, because according to local residents, many of these bandits are from the area. Many people, there were informants who told the bandits that these people were going, who gave them a tip-off that they were going to be chased and attacked by them. So it's important that there's a multi-stakeholder approach to security in Katsina State. Dr. Batu?
Okay, very unfortunate incident. What we know is that, some cattle had been rustled, and then a team of vigilante men decided to give, the cattle rustlers the chase. And in the process, trying to rescue their cattle, this led to conflict between them and the bandits. And at the end of the day, as of this morning, the report is that 71 persons were buried yesterday alone. And the report indicates that, in fact, many more persons, have not yet been found. People have disappeared. 27 women were, abducted from Bakuri local government area and Kankara local government area, 2 local governments in 7 communities in Katsina state. And so the people are in agony, they are lamenting, they're talking about the loss of hope, despair. I mean, to kill 71 persons in one community alone with 27 women disappearing, the clear implication, as pointed out by, many of the victims, is that we now have in these 7 communities in Katsina state, women who have become overnight widows, children who have become orphans, and just in the new year, we're still just starting the new year, and look at the tragedy that has befallen them. What even makes it worse is that there was a similar incident last year. And so every year you have this, either in form of reprisal killing or in terms of the vigilantes, being attacked, and women and children being the major victims at the end of the day. Whatever the details are, this is condemnable. The president of Nigeria says it is horrific, and indeed it is. The presidential candidate of the APC, who has also issued a statement, has also condemned it. But isn't that familiar? We condemn anytime there is an attack, until we all wait for the attack next time. And hence the question is asked, at what point will the Nigerian state be able to fulfill that objective in Section 14, 2B of the Nigerian Constitution, which says that the responsibility of government is to ensure the security and welfare of the people. The state continues to fail the people in this regard. One of the issues that came up in these 7 communities in Katsina state is that the people have locally made weapons, but the police, had stopped them from using those locally made weapons and even took the weapons away from them. Now, of course, the police has the responsibility to protect people, and the police is not likely to encourage people to go and develop their own weapons and resort to self-defense. The fact that 100 bandits were killed, it does not mitigate the tragedy in terms of what has happened in those 7 communities in Katsina state. The president has praised the vigilantes, who have been very brave, have been heroic in trying to support government. But what we are left with, is this report of needless deaths, of women who have become widows, of children who have become orphans. We commiserate with the affected families, only to note that the Katsina state government immediately dispatched, a delegation led by the secretary to the state government to commiserate with the affected communities. And a committee has also been set up by the Katsina state government to provide relief materials. But even with those relief materials, I do not know how anybody can feel relieved having lost their persons for the only reason that they live in a country where insecurity is what they're served on a daily basis, and the harvest is in form of pain, injury, and death. Most unfortunate.
Which is the sad reality of Nigeria today. Commiserations across board, but we all know what is happening. We have developed a war economy in the north, and this war economy is seeping in. We've developed a system where bandits, number one, rustle cattle for economic benefits. 2, there's a huge mineral crime scene going on, where minerals are being tapped, illegal mining is going on. This bandits also provide cover for those doing the illegality and in turn use the money to buy weapons. The third tranche of this war economy is kidnapping. They kidnap for a ransom and they get money back. So it's a multi-pronged approach. In all of this, you also have communal clashes, ethno-communal clashes going on there. And in all of this, there's also community connivance. That's why, like you said rightly, Ayo, that intel was given to the bandits. And these bandits that laid the ambush for the vigilante also pay some sort to the people that give them intel. So it's a big ecosystem of crimes going on there. One solution will be economic viability of that area. Another solution will be a good military might. But a good military might, which is a stick approach, cannot win without you having a soft power approach, which is economic viability. Also, we We must have a great level of intelligence gathering across board that can even identify people that supply the value chain of information to these bandits. So that's what happens. And also the police must come in tall. If the police is mopping up arms from these vigilantes that are supposed to help sanitize the system, because the governor is now saying hitherto he doesn't want vigilantes again, then there's going to be a problem, because the police was not there to be able to govern this, to be able to respond to activities effectively. Katsina is one of the most under-policed states in the country. It's a far cry when you look at the numbers. I do not know why the governor stopped this vigilante units or banned some of them. And I'm sure this governor now sees the reality that you don't go appease the devil. I think it was Winston Churchill that said famously that an appeaser is the man that gives the crocodile meat, hoping the crocodile will eat him last. Because they will eat you last. This same governor had photo poses with bandits at a point saying they made peace, but mayhem was unleashed and he saw the plan didn't work. So what we should do is bolster the vigilantes, bolster them. And this method had worked effectively because they have more on-the-spot reconnaissance and local intelligence, just like the civilian JT have worked greatly. Bolster them with arms, bolster them with training, expand the vigilante network. A lot of people that you've not brought into the fray, register them quickly so that they can have mount guards in their communities so that when these people come, and also infiltrate the people that give intelligence to these bandits. Then also bring in economic replenishment in small scheme for SMEs and the likes so that people, once they have economic leeway, then they can move off from these activities. It is very sad what is happening. We pray for the repose of the soul. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is asking Nigerians to exercise patience with the scarcity of the new Naira notes while pleading the central government, the Central Bank of Nigeria, to speed up the process of making the new currency available to customers. Peter Obi spoke on This Day Live.
Currency redesign is not peculiar to Nigeria. This is an exercise that has a long-term economic and social benefits, but comes with a short-term inconveniences and pain. And my appeal still to Nigerians is that we should have patience with the federal government of Nigeria and the Central Bank of Nigeria, while at the same time appealing to Central Bank of Nigeria and the bank to expedite actions that will ensure that this new currency is available to small depositors, small businesses, the unbanked, and people in rural areas. Mine is to be able to make it available to the, what you can call those at the bottom of the ladder, to make it available. And this, I believe the CBN and this can make available as quickly as possible. Everywhere, Ruben, they've been redesign of currency. In a third world country that I've known, it comes with even what you said, right? Look at what happened in India. Did you watch what happened in India? It was worse than what was happening here. They were riots, they were everything all over the place. But eventually, Indians will tell you today they are better off and their economy benefited better.
A lot to talk about, Ayo.
I'm glad he cited the India example and just explained that this is not unique to Nigeria, because I've seen a number of comments around Nigerians saying that, oh, this is, the government wants to finish us and this is really hellish. Yes, we cannot take that away, that this process has been less than desirable. In fact, that's putting it very mildly. We've seen the effect on businesses. On Friday, just going out, it was very sad to see what Nigerians had been, turned to, because Nigerians were taking off their clothes, fighting, shouting. It was just a jungle situation. However, we must, as we put that in terms of the hardship this has caused, we must continue to also remind Nigerians the importance, the long-term benefit of this redesign policy. We have seen as already the gains from the policy in the last few weeks, and what the CBN has said hopes to even gain further in terms of supporting monetary policy in the country. What we must appeal to CBN and the banks is for them to ensure that there's no hanky-panky, if I put it that way, in terms of releasing these notes to Nigerians. There should be more efficient ways, as has been said. Nigerians had since October of last year, the notice was given then that the redesign was going to take place. Now the deadline was shifted by 10 days. In a few days again, don't forget that that's the deadline given by the CBN, and it's important that the efforts by security agencies supporting the CBN policy is strengthened. Banks and who are erring in terms of deliberately hoarding these notes should be brought to the book. Not just banks in some small area in Ogbomoso. Let's make examples of the bigger banks in Lagos State where we do not have these new notes from our ATMs, where the new notes are still given over the counter, where some special customers are still having access to these notes in their volumes, and small businesses like one in Lekki, I saw their notice that they had to shut down on Saturday because of the hardship on their staff. This is something that we must look into, and that Nigerians, as we've said often, the policy is for the benefit of the economy of this nation. However, we also encourage all Nigerians to work together to ensure that it does not fail. Banks, very importantly.
Dr. Martin?
Okay, Mr. Peter Obi, it was my pleasure to have been the one to intervene yesterday on This Day Live. And the major point he made has been played out there, that people should be patient, that people should cooperate with the federal government and the CBN, that, there's no way you have this kind of policy, there will not be initial pain. So the people have to make the sacrifice. But there are long-term economic benefits. And that was when he cited the example of India. And he's correct in that regard, because India in November 2016, decided to redesign the 1,000 rupees and the 500 rupees. And the government of India gave only 4 hours notice for people to bring in that money. Of course, there was hardship, but the people endured it. In India at the time, there were queues around, as we had today. Look at the population of India, over 1 billion. And yet the people were given 4 hours. But what the Modi administration wanted to do was to bring in money and capture people who had not been paying tax, to widen the tax base. And they, of course, they had data, they had hard system that they had developed. So it was a bit easier. The people of India, as Mr. Obi pointed out, yes, did not mind the pain. The only difference, which I pointed out before, is that the people of India trusted their government. They believed that the government meant well for them. And so they endured the pain. But here, I think the problem we have is that the people don't trust government. People say, oh, this has been designed to punish us. And the matters have not been helped by politicians playing the game of saying, oh, this has been brought, just to punish people and derail the election. At least we have had 2-3 persons, prominent Nigerians making that particular statement. So Mr. Peter Obi's support for that policy, I think, is important. He will be the second presidential candidate that will be lending his support to the policy. But he also gave the point that the CBN and the banks have an obligation to make these notes available to mitigate the suffering, the hardship that people are going through, and to prevent the kind of protests that we have seen in parts of the country, in Ibadan, in Edo State, in other parts of the country, because people have no access to fuel, people have no access to cash, no fuel. So he spoke as a statesman, trying to give confidence to the people. And I think it's in order, for us to have a balance in terms of reactions from the political leadership. While some people may disagree with the policy, those who agree, like Mr. Obi, should also come forward, and he has done so, to call for calm, to call for patience, and to make the point that the gain, the long-term benefit, will be more important to the Nigerian economy and to the Nigerian people rather than this initial hardship. And we have examples from other parts of the world, even apart from India. But my only footnote to that is that, look, going forward, the Nigerian government, with regard to policy execution, must build confidence and trust Because if the people think their government is against them, it doesn't matter any policy you design. No matter how well-meaning, people will read meanings into it. They will read errors into it. Others will, in fact, make efforts to sabotage the same policy, as we have been told.
So let me quickly start from India. There were big gains from that policy in India, just like there are going to be big gains on the policy of the Naira Reserve on Nigeria economy. Taxation and collection of taxes increased 18% a year after that policy was done. And today, India keeps getting a lot in taxation. And that's why India recently had a budget of $500 billion. That's governmental spending this year in India. That's about 45 trillion rupees. So you can see the effect of that Naira policy. In Nigeria, it's already having the effects. The reason why the CBN can curb a lot in terms of monetary policy is because you have a lot of black money in the hands of people. Trillions of Naira, which they've been able to curb with these policies, is going to have a knock-on effect on inflation, while the government tries to solve other fiscal problems and legacy problems. Nigerians, please support this. I know the hardship is there for businesses, but really, for the lasting gain, we need to go through pain. And it is sad, and I feel the pain. I'm also feeling the itch. I'm part of it. I can't get cash also. But we need to calm things down so that we don't allow politicians derail the process, because politicians are now fanning the embers of war, using this as a bait. For the first time, the same National Assembly that has not held extra sessions, that their members are so quick to go on recess, even when the country is burning with insecurity, now they want to have one more recess because of this Naira policy. It shows that it's already curbing vote buying. That's why all the politicians are screaming. Some people are screaming because they know it's not going to favor them, because they normally buy votes. And that's why they're also sponsoring protests. And people should be careful. Don't allow them use your anger to sponsor protests and derail things. Some of them are even talking about sorts of things like Scotland election and interim government. Perish the idea. Nigeria can't go through disaster again. It's a fair playing field for all. And we must learn to make this country work. And that's why those that didn't go see the president when there was ASU strike, those that didn't go see the president after 5 months of scarcity, are all going to see the president now. Please, this policy was the benefit of all. There will be pain, but there will be gain in the end. Let's make it work. Sorry about the pain. It's going to be all right.